Hi guys, welcome back. This is my second video on my shelf. If you haven't seen the first one, I recommend you go and see the first one. Purely because I explain who, why, how, what, and all the other malarkey. And we did the first section from 1920 all the way up to about 1960 something or other. Today, let's get started straight away because this is going to kill my arm. We're back up in this tiny corner. This is the Romero section. We're actually missing one. Don't tell anyone. We do actually have it in another box set, but it's been put away for safekeeping, and I'm planning to get that for my other half. My other half is a Romero fan, and I got her this nice Criterion collection of Night of the Living Dead last year for her birthday. Absolutely beautiful Blu-ray, and I'm looking to track down the rest of the trilogy on Arrow or something similar for her birthday this year, but shh, don't tell her. So basically, this is 1968, I do believe, George A. Romero. The rule of my shelf, which I don't think I mentioned in my last video, is they are date order. The only time this does not apply is if it's a sequel. So, for example, Reanimator here is in its place. That is date order. The sequel, The Bride of Reanimator, is not in the right place, but that is because it is a direct sequel to The Reanimator. That is the only time I break the date rule. And you'll see how that sits in a minute. Oh, my cat's just attacked me. So yeah, let's get back on to this. We've got a lot to cover today. So, we have George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead. What then should be is Day of the Dead, yes. Like I say, I have got a copy in a 3-disc box set, but we decided to take that off the shelf and try and find some individual copies. But I will be updating Dawn of Day to a Blu-ray very soon, a nice special edition hopefully. So we have Dawn, then we have Land and Diary of the Dead, followed by Survival of the Dead. That's quite nice. That's quite a nice box. It's quite up to date, but yeah. Technically it is part of the George A. Romero set. Oh, coughing on my own vape. And then we have something very odd. John Waters' Multiple Maniacs, starring Divine. This is a Criterion collection. Absolutely batshit mental film. John Waters films are absolutely mad. Divine is mental. I need to get a copy of Pink Flamingos from somewhere because I'm still traumatised from that. I won't tell you why. And then we have our first Arrow on the shelf. It's the Count Yorga collection. I actually only got this a week ago. I haven't watched them yet. We have an old Arrow here. This is Bay of Blood, but it's called Bloodbath on its old cover. And Cat o' Nine Tails, both Argentos. And then we go whizzy, and my arm might be a bit better now because this is about 5 foot high, so I can reach it. And we have Romero's The Crazies. We have the Exorcist trilogy. This is a beautiful box. Let's try not to pull the shelf over. I like the way it shines. Very nice set. We have Theatre of Blood. We have The Wicker Man, which I've never been a fan of. Maybe I'm just not a Christopher Lee fan. We have the Blu-ray. Not sure who did this Blu-ray. Of Black Christmas. Very good film. Oh, excuse me, dust. And then we have the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This is a bit beat up, but I love the. I don't know if you can see it again. And every time I've got one on the video, you can never see the red is shiny on a matte black. But I really like that. It's a little bit battered. Every single edition of that I've seen has been very creased up and battered. I just really liked it. I'm not much of a fan of Texas Chainsaw. I'm not a fan of this era, to be fair. 70s are not my cup of tea. But these things earn their places in life. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 and Leatherface. Christ, that's a terrible film. And then I have Vampires, The Daughters of Darkness, which I absolutely love this cover. It's very beautiful. A friend bought me this many years ago. And a little bit of a whoops there because there are boobies. It was I think it's Spanish actually, and any vampire film after Hammer was basically an excuse to see two girls or more with their tops off and a little bit of blood making out. So obviously I love them. We have from 1974 Mel Brooks in Young Frankenstein. We have Jaws 2-disc special edition. Some of these films I've got in the wrong way because their spines fade, so I've turned them around. They're still fading. It's a very nice box set, special edition of Jaws. Oh dear. Followed by Lenticular Case, 3 films, Jaws 2, 3 and Revenge. Otherwise known as 4. I have the Rocky Horror Picture Show, 2 special edition, and its follow-up, which is not very well known, and I'm not surprised, it's terrible. Shock Treatment. Very, very bizarre film. Some of the original cast are in it, and it's a weird game show they go on to save Brad and Janet's relationship, their marriage. Oh dear. Very strange. And yep, back to the Blu-rays of Shivers, Cronenberg. Absolutely love Cronenberg films. Love the gory stuff. And I got this last week as well. Loved it. The Incredible Melting Man. Arrow have done such beautiful jobs lately with these slightly less known kind of like schlocking. They're so like gory faces, dripping blood, ooze, pus. Not great storylines, but because of the effects, they are more than worthwhile in my life, and I'm so glad Arrow have cleaned them up, given them a nice cover, and put them out beautifully. I have the 25-year anniversary of the Omen trilogy, which limited edition, but I seem to see this edition about quite a lot, so I don't know how limited it was. Argento's Suspiria, and then the Halloween sets. I have this 25 Years of Terror, which has a documentary, and let's see if I can just spin to the back without actually pulling it right out. It's 4 discs, absolutely loaded with things, 7 hours. And then I have Halloween 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, H2O, and Resurrection. Believe it or not, I'm not actually a fan of Halloween too much, but this is how I like to see the films on the shelf, all nice and laid out. You'll see in a second that it's something I'm going to do for future films. And then I have the Alien Quadrilogy. It's quite an old set now. I got this Christ, about 20 odd years ago. Actually, it's quite a nice set actually still. The discs inside are in a really nice lime green casing I loved. And the follow-up Prometheus. And then I have Frank Minghella version of Dracula. The Driller Killer. Terrible film, but Nosferatu the Vampire with Claude Klinsky by Werner Herzog. It's actually a very nice remake. Very nice remake of Nosferatu. Followed very closely by the British version, Salem's Lot, which was actually a TV special, I do believe. It's a Stephen King book, and they put it on British TV in 2 halves, but for the DVD release they put both parts together. A bit like It, they broke it into 2 parts for TV. The Visitor, The Changeling, which actually scared my mum to death when she was a kid apparently. Have Zombie Flesh Eaters Extreme Edition. I don't really know anything about these films particularly. I know that it's also known as Zombie. But these are, again, if it has to do with zombies or George Romero, it's going to be my partner's films. I don't really do zombies or Romero films. She loves these, like these Vipco Vault of Horrors, and they're all very 70s. That's all I can say. They're just very 70s. And then we have John Carpenter's The Fog. I'm getting a little bit dark in this corner. Jamie Lee Curtis, Adrienne Barbeau, this is a special edition of The Fog. And Friday the 13th, the complete. Can I get it out there? I won't get it all the way out. All in this small box set. But they did not contain Jason Goes to Hell. Oh, I'm looking. I need to remember a camera is in my hand. Yeah, for some reason, Jason Goes to Hell must be on a different distributor, and so is Jason X. But as with Halloween, I am looking to put this away and get some cheap copies of all the Friday the 13th and fill up a shelf with them, just so you can see the spines. I love the spines, how they look with the Halloween, rather than just going this tiny little. It's the width of two DVDs. Just saying Friday the 13th. I'd rather have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's my my next mission. I have Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, American Werewolf in London, Arrow copy of The Burning, which is absolutely gorgeous film. Very poignant in the slashers, very underrated. I feel like people are just getting to know that film better now. And about time too. I have Deadly Blessings, with Blessing, read the case. It's Wes Craven film. Actually stars Sharon Stone, and it's about, I don't even know. It's like some what do they call it? Amish people that kidnap young girls and torture them or whatever, and yeah, it's terrible, but it's there. I have the Evil Dead trilogy. Again, it's a shame it's all on one, but it's a beautiful Blu-ray edition. Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness. It's a lovely set, but I am tempted to buy them all individually as well, just because it deserves a better place than just that. It deserves 1, 2, and 3. I have Funhouse. This is the old Arrow logo, Arrowdrome, very old DVD. I recently tried to rebuy this as the Arrow release, House by the Cemetery. It's an awful film, but I remember watching it and finding it hilariously different. I can't remember, is it Fulci? Italian. But yeah, I'm gonna upgrade that to a better quality. I just remember the little blonde boy in it that looks like a little blonde girl, and he's just like, "Mummy, Mummy," and it just really irritates you the whole film. And then we have one of my favourite families out there, The Munsters' Revenge. I have Creepshow. The Blu-ray edition of Creepshow 2, which I think is actually, it's an 88 Films copy, and I believe this is actually quite hard to get in America at the minute. It's out of print. I have Poltergeist, 25th anniversary of that. I have the stage version with Angela Lansbury of Sweeney Todd, the musical, which is absolutely brilliant. This is where Tim Burton got his reference to make his version. So it was done a long time ago. Absolutely cracking. Angela Lansbury is one of the best Mrs. Lovitts that will ever be on stage. 1982 apparently. This is... we were doing a sort out the other day. This is Dario Argento's Tenebrae. Chuck it down there. This is The Thing. And I would like a nice copy of that. This is one of my personal favourites, John Carpenter's Christine. I believe Arrow's done a nice copy of that as well, I will be picking up. And The Hunger. Catherine Deneuve and David Bowie and Susan Sarandon. Absolutely beautiful film, very underrated. They very much need to give me a nice edition of that, that's for sure, because it's stunning. Now let's take it down and we'll do 2 more and then we'll stop at my birthday. So we have another version of Phantom of the Opera starring Jane Seymour, which I only just noticed. And Sleepaway Camp Survivors Kit. This is 1, 2, and 3, I do believe, of Sleepaway Camp. Sometimes I take them out of the box because I don't like that box set sticking out. I do prefer the disc showing. Yeah, and we will stop there at 1984 and we'll start again. That was the year I was born. Oh, I'm showing you God knows what on my shelves and that now. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this second edition. I haven't gone into too much detail. I'm hoping in future that can be what I'll do. I'll pick a few films and sort of go through and review, we'll discuss, talk about the history, the whys, the whos. But yeah, stay horrific. See you next time.